headphones. Give me 2 seconds. I'll fix this. Oh my lord.
We spoke
Dude, this
so
is
much.
difficult. Oh my god, we did the whole intro and everything. Colin, can you flip yourself back over? How's that? Can we hear desktop audio now?
So we're not going to repeat anything, but
Oh
man,
my
we talked
lord,
a lot.
we talked
you
a
missed
lot.
the entire Pokemon
Let's do a real
segment.
quick recap.
Oh my god.
Okay. Give us the intro, Josh.
Hi everybody, welcome to This Is Difficult. I was on 4Gs and then going once, going twice. So we talked about the games we played. Banjo 2, we played a little bit of Pokemon DLC. 4Gs played some bullshit. Paul, other than the names mixed up. What'd you play? I forgot already.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Well, I haven't said what I've played yet.
Oh, that's right. I was talking about
you
Pokemon
and I were talking about Pokemon
and
competitive.
honestly, we got really deep. That was like fucking 10 minutes of really good Pokemon competitive talk. Oh, wow.
I should have checked that first. I totally forgot because I changed my headset. It's taking a different audio
I gave
input.
away all the meta tips, guys. And
you did. If you want to be a competitive Pokemon player, tough luck. Because we already gave you all the secrets.
You're going to need the beta copy of this.
Oh my god. Thank you, PJ, for pointing that out. Otherwise, we would have gone this whole podcast with half the audio, or so like less than half the audio.
Someone decided to watch us.
Oh Lord. All right. Well, crazy. Let's Christ. Colin, did you play anything this week?
No,
nothing at all. Okay. I played Darksiders Genesis with my brother, which is a game that I've been meaning to play for a really long time. It is the Darksiders series is very, very much like the old style God of War games. Only a little more stylized and kind of comic book-esque, you know.
You played with Adam, you said? Your brother?
I played it with my brother Adam, yes. He's a huge fan of the series. And to date, like, the games haven't been cooperative. They're just single player, action adventure games.
That's what I thought.
Darksiders Genesis, though, is a cooperative, top-down kind of isometric, kind of gauntlet-like, but it still has like the combat feel of the original games and a lot of like different move sets and things that you can get and different ways to upgrade your characters. And it is a freaking blast. Like, especially if you enjoyed the old like Gauntlet games, then you'll enjoy this, because it's like Gauntlet, only like taken to a few more levels. Instead of just like being basic characters that just level up as you play and don't gain any new moves, you actually, you can build entire different move sets and builds for your character and get different weapons and stuff. And it's super fun. It's super fun so far. So I've been enjoying that. And I also played Mercenary Kings with Shamali. And that is a, what's the name of that game? Metal Slug. It's a Metal Slug-like. If you've ever played Metal Slug, it's kind of like an arcade shooter. And kind of similar to, I guess, Contra. Though I think it's a little more
bullet hell.
I think it's a little more approachable than Contra, both in graphical style. Hell? Yeah, it's bullet hell-ish. I wouldn't say as bad as a Contra. The other cool thing about Mercenary Kings is it's kind of got a similar element to like a Monster Hunter game. So like the enemies that you kill will drop different like resources and materials, and you can go back and build custom weapons like with your own. Like the gun Shamali was using was a toilet. Like, it was like a legit toilet. It was dope. So there's just some really cool, silly things you can do. And we didn't play it for very long, but what I did play of it, I really enjoyed. So it is pretty cool.
That's cool.
And then also played some Paper Mario, which we'll talk about not next week, but the week after.
Right now?
Oh. No. Since that's the featured game right now, we're gonna talk about that when I'm finished with it. Next week we're taking a break because of the holiday. Just thought we should throw that out there. But the following week, that's going to be our spotlight game, and we're gonna talk about it in depth. So that'll be really cool. Let's move on. We're kind of restructuring a little bit. So instead of going right into news, let's hit our topic question. Um, let's see. A few weeks ago, we talked about DLC. In a more recent conversation, um, I kind of expressed my distaste for additional characters costing money. This was between me and Shamali. We were talking about this in DLC, and essentially, like the question here is like, where's the line when it comes to DLC? Cost, content type, additional characters, story content, things like that. So, essentially, like my qualm, just to give you a little bit of perspective of the conversation we had, was, um, I have a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth from, I think it was Injustice 2, honestly. I don't think it was Injustice 1. Honestly, it's been so long since I played it that I don't really recall which one it was, but I felt like it didn't have the characters that I wanted, but when I went to look how you unlocked the other characters, you had to, buy everyone individually,
It's
and they
annoying
were
as
all like
hell.
$5 a piece, and I was like,
I
"What?"
hate
Like
that.
I like the last fighting game that I really got into, I think was like the definitive edition of Street Fighter 3 on like Xbox 360, and it had a bazillion characters and all of them were unlockable in game. So there wasn't any purchases, there wasn't, and this is still in the era of DLC. So like there was DLC going on at this time, but this game didn't have it. Like it was a complete game and you just had to unlock your characters. And to me, like that just left a bad taste in my mouth. So
Mm.
that's kind of like the context for the conversation that we had. And so I
James,
guess the
Right.
story is like for you
James,
guys,
what's up with that?
where's your line when it comes to acceptable DLC purchases? Like, you get what I'm
I
saying?
don't think multiple characters or anything story wise like feels good to make someone pay for again. Like when you give someone an epic grand tale and like Breath of the Wild, for instance, and then they add something extra that's like part of the story, you kind of feel like you're cheated as far as someone who originally bought the game. You're like, oh, the story was like the main reason I wanted the game. And like you're making me pay for that. Like it's one thing to pay for skins and shit. But on that note, like playing for alternate characters is also kind of annoying too. Like, okay, these are like characters that are supposed to be in the game. Why should I have to pay for that also? So
Right.
I
Yeah.
think the only thing that is acceptable to pay for is like, I mean, you could fucking do whatever you want, I guess, loot boxes or whatever. Like, you can just buy a bunch of skins, whatever.
Sure.
But like missions and like stuff that aren't story oriented or like side modes are really cool. I
Right.
think it'd be cool if they like added multiplayer modes that way a lot of times or like did alternate like side quests.
Mhm.
But like to add bulk of the story or bulk of games is like kind of rude to the players.
I agree, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't mind like if a game if you've got a robust game and then it comes out with an expansion that is also robust and adds to the story and adds in new characters and adds in new abilities, things like that. I don't mind paying for that. There's obviously a lot of work that goes into that from the
Yeah.
the developer side of things. So, they need to recoup those expenses somehow, right?
Yeah.
But I think that it's a hard line to draw, to be honest, because in some cases, you know, you'll expect something, the Pokemon DLC, for instance, right? I think it's worth the money for the Pokemon DLC.
I
But I
agree.
could easily see that
Not
having
being.
a lot less content than it offers, and being egregious, even though it does add new characters, it does add new stories, it adds a whole new area. If they skimped on that content a little bit, I would be upset. Honestly,
Yeah.
the Breath of the Wild expansion that you mentioned, I think is a great example. I think that the Breath of the Wild expansion is kind of doo-doo butts, you
Yeah.
know? Like,
But I will say something about the Pokemon one. It doesn't add any real story. Like it adds post game story and it
mhm,
adds Pokemon that you're like, cool. It expands my pool, which is awesome if you want them. But if you just want to play like Sword and Shield and you don't care about those extra things, it actually doesn't. Like I feel like it doesn't like take away from the experience if you just play the main game and the post game and then don't get the DLC.
mhm,
Whereas like what I'm saying is like if it adds like real story, like say it's like that true ending, like and that's in the DLC and like not everyone can get it. Maybe it's like a $30 thing and not everyone just can afford it. That's what bothers me. Like I love
yeah,
when it's like it's fun story. Like Pokemon is perfect because it's like story that you don't miss. but if you
Mhm.
get it, you're like really
Yeah.
happy. You're like, it's awesome.
Yeah, I
Love
agree.
more for it.
Like, so you're talking about like cut content almost, it
Yeah, I'd
sounds
be
like.
like
So
if
if
like
like
the real fight with Ganon was like actually in the DLC. You don't even get to
right.
fight Ganon. That's
Yeah.
actually in the DLC. That's what I mean. Stuff like that.
Yeah,
That's an
that would be
example.
bullshit.
That'd be hell.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think my biggest thing is I've really liked the whole just skins for DLC, you know? Like that
Mhm.
to me is like the best because I don't like skins personally, so I don't care to buy them most of the time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's like cool to have, but like that doesn't really get me going. But like people love skins, and it seems to be a really great strategy for getting people to buy more stuff and feel good about it and not feel like they're missing out on content. You know, it's like again, like pay to win is never ever fun. It really
Yeah.
ruins a game community and
Yeah.
culture. And like,
I agree. I think it shouldn't be anything essential. Like literally what PJ is
yeah,
saying here, I feel like DLC shouldn't be required. I feel like it shouldn't have to affect the main game at all. Like, yeah, if there's like something that someone gets because they paid for it and they're like, this just makes my experience that much better. No one can experience this without paying for it. That's great.
Yeah.
And it's like someone who didn't, it's like, fuck you, dude. I don't even know this secret thing. Like, I don't even know the
Right.
main plot or whatever because I didn't get this one little
I would
pre-order
say
for
there's
it.
one
Like,
exception to that.
there are very few cases where it really ruins it like that, but that's all I'm
Yeah.
saying.
So the only
Okay.
exception that I would make to that would be like for giant games as a service type games like WoW or Destiny or things like that, where they're literally putting, months and months of development time into like a big piece of content that's going to continue the game going forward for years. Um,
Very
and
few games are like that though, where they're
right,
like
very few
trying to
games are like
maintain
that,
its
and
life
I
for that
think
long.
that
Yeah.
some games, including Destiny, have taken advantage of that and have crossed that line in some instances, you know. But I don't see a better way to do that, you know. So that one's kind of a tough one, but as long as they're delivering um good consistent content, then I don't mind paying like a premium for that game,
Yeah.
over time.
Yeah.
Like a subscription kind of thing. But
I think season passes are cool, like when it is that type of game, for sure.
have
When
you
you
right.
be
seen those
like,
season
here's my
passes?
Zelda season pass, I'm like, what?
Yeah,
That's
the
a one
Zelda
player
season pass
game.
was
What the
trash, yeah.
fuck?
Have you
Like,
seen
come
those
on.
season passes though that like basically lets you earn enough like in-game points to get the next one? So you
And
buy into
though
the
that's a
first one.
Fortnite and like a
Yeah,
few
so
other
that's
games
like
do
a
Kind of
that.
battle
clever
pass.
though.
Yeah,
It's
that's a
very
battle
Yeah.
smart.
pass.
Yeah, where you
Yeah.
only have to buy one, and if you play the game
If you
enough,
played enough, yeah,
then you
that's
get the
really
next one. And
clever.
that's
That's a
very
really
smart. I
I think
agree.
that's the thing. Like game designers are meant to figure out ways to make you want to play their
Yeah.
game. So like they're thinking about it inside the game, making a solid game, as well as making like
Yes.
clever marketing. Because like the time of it being able to sell things as is and bulk is kind of not over, but like it's kind of a huge gamble now for a lot of
Yeah.
companies. You know, like they better know that this IP is going to do well, you know, or it better be like multiplayer so they can do subscription based or skins or something to make subscription based model kind
Yeah.
of work with that.
Yeah.
So
I think that everything needs to be unlockable. This is the mistake. Like, make your player grind the fuck out of the game to get that fucking skin. Make them put in 10 hours to get one skin or pay $5 to get that same skin. If you're really
yeah,
going to do that, like, you should not deprive anyone of
Mhm.
what you're offering. But how good does it feel like when I would play those pay to play games and you actually like organically unlock the thing in game and you're like, that's awesome. I didn't have to pay anything. And I'm like crushing this game. Like, you feel great, right? Even if it's like a little phone game, you're like, this is great. I love this. Like, I'm destroying this game, but like, I didn't put a cent in. How great am I? And people love that. It's a great satisfaction where you can buy and upgrade, but you should also be able to unlock. And I
Mhm.
think that's just like, maybe that's a line that they'll eventually get to. But to me, like, as a developer, not a businessman, I would rather someone put hundreds of hours into my game and unlock everything that way than
Yeah.
put 50 hours into my game and just be like, okay, they're done with it because they unlocked everything. That's like not how you play games.
Right.
Like, since when do we play games like that? To me, it's like saying it out loud is crazy. Yeah. But like, give people a choice.
It's a complicated issue because
Because yeah.
like I kind of have nostalgia for the days where I bought a game and that was the game, like period,
Yes, I
But there
know.
has been
Yeah.
advantages to this modern age of being able to like get a massive update for a game that like fixes balancing issues in a game or fixes, bugs in a game,
It's
where that
true.
wasn't possible to do back in the days of like cartridges, you
It's
know.
true. Just
So
break the game, pretty much.
but that also means that that developer is putting a lot more work into the game after the game's released, you know? So who's paying for that? It
That's
like
true. I get that. Yeah.
so there's a fine line. I agree that I think for the most part when it comes to monetization of a game, it should stick to cosmetics. Unless it's like a legitimately large piece of content that is worth paying for. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
Um
And I think
but
they're a way to make content worth playing for without not having it detracting from the original game itself. There's like plenty of ways. And Pokemon is a perfect example. I'm going to
mhm.
keep coming back to that. It's like perfect example of how to do DLC correctly. Like you add something that makes the player extremely grateful and that gives them a ton more content, but not having it doesn't take anything away from the original experience. Like it's so
Right.
Yeah.
simple and
I
perfect.
think we're moving that direction. I really do. Like,
Yeah.
I think so too,
I think
especially
I
skins
think
are
so.
pretty great, you know,
yeah.
like
Yeah, it's like if you want, like that's the thing. Like, what if you want to buy things? I don't see this perspective, but like, what if you want to like buy a shit ton of stuff and you're like, I just love microtransactions. That's a real thing where people
There are
like to
people
like
like they call them
custom.
whales. Yeah.
Yeah, they like to customize the shit
Yeah.
out of their guy, and they're like, "Do you like that little flower that costs $5 like on my
Yeah.
sword?" Like that's a thing. Like people love that
which is
shit.
an
So
incredible
let
like
them
market
do it.
potential because
Yeah,
it's like when you make one time and then you can sell it a million times and
yeah,
there's no inventory or stock or anything.
yeah.
It's genius, really. Like
Yeah, the true genius is when they don't ever even buy the game, like Fortnite. That's genius. I gotta even admit,
that
like
is
they
give
didn't
it away
even
for
spend a
free,
cent
give
in the
away
game. Yeah,
the good stuff first, the
yeah.
meth, you know.
Oh, I had a friend who was like, I spent $500 on Fortnite skins and season passes, and
I
I was
need someone
like,
who
that's a
spent
free
600.
game, bro. $600 on a free
I know.
game.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah,
Isn't that insane?
That
yeah.
is
But like, it's
crazy.
apparently it works, and you don't even realize you're spending $600 until 2 years have passed, and you're like, shit.
Bro, I don't
What's
I don't
it
even
costing?
actually want to know how much I've spent on Destiny. I really don't want to know.
Oh, it's probably
Please.
300
That's the
bucks. I would
point, though.
guess.
Yeah.
It's genius.
Oh, we
You're
don't
like,
Yeah.
want to
oh,
tell you how much, you
yeah,
know. Like if you
five
like $60,
$5
I
at a
can't
time.
spend that, you
Yeah,
know.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
like $600 over the course of a year, you know,
yeah.
or two.
Like, yeah, there's the
Yeah.
online membership plus the DLC. It's only $10 at a
Yeah.
time, so it's
I
okay.
do
But it's
agree with you
great.
guys though that I think that kind of more egregious models go in the way of the buffalo. Like you've got a lot of well in
Buffalo.
regard to like loot boxes for instance, those are becoming illegal in most parts of the world, so those
Yeah,
those have kind of been
Oh
pulled
yeah,
it's
from
kind of
games in
gambling.
general.
for
Yeah,
children.
exactly.
Gambling. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
we had
There's
this
a
so people
certain
are thinking
point.
of different
Yeah.
ways to do that. Also, you're seeing in the industry a lot of games becoming cross platform, cross generation, um
Yeah.
compatible, a lot of games
That's
that are
great.
coming out for this next generation, they've Xbox has made it a policy, right? But in general, most other games, like there's a couple games that have been announced that are, across all systems, where like Cyberpunk 2077, for instance, in their recent live stream that they did, they mentioned that if you buy 2077 for your PlayStation 4, that when the PlayStation 5 comes out, your game will transfer over to that at no extra
Mm,
cost.
how
That's
You
cool.
nice.
know, so I think game companies are becoming
They're
a
getting
little more
there.
consumer friendly while still
Yeah.
maintaining like cosmetic shops and things like that.
I
To
think
to get further
there was a huge
monetization.
burst like in the last like 5-ish years
Hmm.
where they were just seeing the potential in business growth and they were like, damn, we can literally just machine gun things at people and several people will just grab things and some people won't care, but like let's just shove it down people's throats. And I think now they're starting to, like you're saying, like come out to where they're like, all right, let's
Hmm.
make like some good content actually.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
like a lot of DLC is looking better, at least to me these days.
I agree, man. You guys want to get into the news?
No, 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 no.
Yeah.
Good
Beep,
news,
beep, beep, beep,
everyone.
beep, beep, beep. Sweet. All right, let's get in there. Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Remaster, a game that I'm
Oh,
very excited about,
I'll give it another shot.
is coming out with a light version,
Okay.
which includes the first 3 missions, as well as crossplay. Um,
Why light? What does
So
light
is this
mean?
like
so
a
it's
kid
it's
version
free.
of
So
Final
so
Fantasy?
basically, it's like a demo, right? So,
Oh.
but you'll be able to still play with people who own the game to a certain degree. Um,
I'm curious to
so
see
if
this
you want to
remaster.
try it out before buying it, you can check out like how it plays. Particularly like Josh, for instance, you
Actually,
did not like the original.
yeah. This is a
right?
very smart idea for
And
someone like me who isn't sure if he still likes something like this.
exactly. I'm so pumped about this game, and I think that
I'll
if
give it a
the
shot.
3 of us play it together, we're gonna
Yeah,
have
it
a
could be really
fucking
fun.
blasty. I
I
really
hate
do think so.
miasma though.
Because you never played it with anyone.
I only played it by myself, and I
That
was
game
like,
is
it was
meant
my
to be played
first
co-op.
Final
Yeah.
Fantasy game. My
That
first Final Fantasy game. And I
It's
was
like a
what the
kitty
fuck?
looking, right? Like it's like very like
No, it
style.
kind of looks like Wind Waker, but not cell shaded. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
So
it's
kid
kind of
looking,
got
like
like the
very
Oh,
SD,
yeah,
like the Super
completely.
Deformed
like
kind of.
cartoony or whatever.
A little bit, yeah.
Oh, is Wind Waker
Um,
cartoon?
Yeah, Wind Waker's cartoony. I mean, like
What?
that's not a bad thing. It's just
It's
that's just,
real.
Yeah.
It's
Anyway,
what people
the
look
point
like.
would be, I think that's a great way for you to check it out and see if you actually
Yeah.
like it and play with us. Get the actual experience instead of the solo experience.
Yes.
And before you decide that's something that you actually want. Also, like, it's going to be cross-platform across everything. So like PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, I think PC, and also mobile. Which is pretty dope. It sounds like they're also adding a lot of other new features, including like new weapons, new armor, new character customization. Re-recorded the soundtrack, as well as before the voice lines were, I believe, only in Japanese, and now there's English voice acting in there as well, which is pretty cool. I think there was a few other features that may have been added. A hard mode dungeons and also UI improvements, which is cool. So,
Oh, wow.
I mean, just a lot of quality of life improvements for the game when it comes out. Which, I mean, if you're a fan of that game, I think it's going to be awesome. So I'm very excited about that, and I would really love for you guys to play with me.
that's cool.
That'd be cool. Then that makes
Yeah.
reminds me, since we were talking about a Gauntlet. When was the last time they made one of those games? They should
Gauntlet
make a new.
Legends?
There was no
new
Gauntlet Legends is not the most recent one. There was
No,
one
not even
on
close. Yeah.
there was one on Xbox 360, and it was hot garbage.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
that game is such a cool idea.
Yeah. Well, that's why,
Yeah.
like I said, that Darksiders game is like, it's good,
Yeah.
like new Gauntlet. It's so much fun.
New Gauntlet, you sold me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds really good.
It's very good. I would recommend checking that out if you're a Gauntlet fan. Also, to be
fan.
honest, Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles kind of plays like Gauntlet.
More like a
when
true
you're-
RPG version of it, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah. Honestly, Crystal Chronicles is like an E-rated Dark Souls. Like, kinda. Like, a little bit.
The
E-rated.
combat's so different, though.
Yeah, it's more RPG, but the world feels like that's what it like reminded me. It like felt very dark and intense. I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe I'm
Yeah,
not
maybe.
remembering it at all.
Maybe.
I remember
Well,
that game not being user friendly for me. I don't know what I did wrong.
Yeah. Well, you played it by yourself. That's what you did wrong.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, and we lost Colin.
Not PC, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, Android,
Oh, it's not on
iOS,
PC?
Gauntlet.
Whoops, I
Yeah.
misspoke.
Yeah, I think I jumped around a lot. It says blank. Yeah, I didn't do too hot.
I feel you. Right on. The next little bit, this is really good news for me specifically. So apparently I wasn't the only person who had a problem with the Pokemon DLC in
Pokemon
buying it. Right? I bought the wrong DLC. So, and I haven't done this yet, but I'm more than likely going to do this.
I told you
this
Nintendo
week.
would
Nintendo's issuing refunds for idiots like me who bought the wrong Pokemon Sword and Shield expansion.
I told you that's so nice of them to come forward with something like that though and offer it first.
Yeah. They weren't gonna, but I think enough people did
1,000
exactly what
people
I
at
did.
least. Yeah.
Yeah. And bought the wrong expansion. So all you need to do is call their customer service and they'll rectify the situation. I don't know if they just transfer that into like just switch over the license or if they do a full refund, because I actually ended up purchasing the correct version too,
I would assume you get $30 in coins.
Yeah, most likely something like that, which is
fine.
fine.
Which is great, which is still great.
Yeah, because that's going to be spent there anyway. Yeah, at some point.
Exactly.
So,
that's a really cool thing for Nintendo to do. Just like fixing the Joy-Cons for free. That's nice.
Yeah, actually. It's good to see Nintendo becoming a little more user-friendly in that situation, because they've traditionally been pretty hardline about stuff like that.
However,
So
back in the day, but like around the GameCube era, you used to be able to send in any product and they would clean and fix it for you. Like I sent in my N64 multiple
yeah, that's
times.
true.
I
Yeah.
sent in my GameCube, just the game and the games. And I was like, I don't know if there's something wrong with my games or whatever. And they were like, we cleaned all of your games and gave you a new laser disc and cleaned everything and made sure it's like basically a new GameCube. And I was like, wow. And it was all free. I just had to pay for shipping, which was like a few bucks back then. So
Right.
it was really cool. I remember Nintendo just like always doing cool stuff. They even like put a letter in my box and we're like, we cleaned everything. Thanks for
That's
your
really
support.
sweet of
I was
them.
like, wow, these guys are awesome.
They wrote you a letter.
Yeah, and my GameCube was like broken, so I was like, "This is hell." So it saved my life. Who knows if they just gave me new versions of everything, but it felt cool. When I was like,
Yeah, that's dope. Honestly, that's really cool.
I'm like, this is badass.
Yeah. Speaking of Pokemon Unite was announced this week. Did you guys see this?
I don't know how I really feel about Diablomon or whatever.
Diablomon? No, it's not really. It's more like a MOBA. It's like well, I guess Diablomon. You're comparing it to like Diablo Immortal. Is that what you're comparing it to?
Yeah, well, I kind of looked more like just regular Diablo. Maybe it's more like what the hell is that one game? Dota.
Like Heroes of the Storm, Dota. Yeah. So it's a Pokemon MOBA and it's free to start. And here's the real big red flag here is it's made by Tencent, which is Tencent's like the Chinese government-owned video game company that is like notorious for microtransactions. Yeah, so that kind of leaves a bad taste in my mouth. I will say though, the game looks like a lot of fun. And it's gonna be on Switch and on mobile and support crossplay. So those are the positive things I could say about it.
Play it while
but
I'm at work or something.
Expect that to be heavily monetized. You know, you're definitely going to be paying per character. Which I will say this though. I will say this: if the game is free, right? I don't mind paying for the content that I want.
Yeah.
Okay. So this going back to the conversation we had about DLC earlier. Like, if there's content that I want in the game and I didn't put $60 into this game already, I don't mind shelling out a little money to get that additional content to improve that game for me. As long as that's like a controlled situation and I'm not like all of a sudden like snowballing all this money into the game.
Or being forced to spend it all. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like one of the more egregious like microtransaction mechanics that was, you know, I don't know if it still is because I don't play mobile games anymore, but like the pay per play kind of scenario where you only get like a certain amount of like play times a day, right? Like I can hop in and I can do like 3 missions of a game, but if I want to do more missions of that game, I have to pay money to do that to unlock more missions. That's fucking egregious and disgusting. So like if they do like you can play 3 matches a day of, you know, Pokemon Dota, and then if you want to pay additional matches, you've got to pay for it. That's not okay in my book.
No,
you know
that's
what I'm
shit.
saying? So
in fact, that's my probably. Are you talking about like pay to play? Okay, yeah, like physically. That's probably my least favorite like mechanic in one of those things is where it's like, oh, if you do all these other things or like pay in this certain way or do something, like you can then play more of the game. That's the biggest stupidity I think for pay to play. Where you're like, you can't even play the game. Nah, fuck yourself. I don't even want to play your game now.
And that's huge. Everyone thinks mobile games.
Yeah, and that's huge. Like literally Mario Run. It was like you have to get like a certain amount of stars in order to unlock level 2. And like in order to get that many stars, you have to like 100% the entire game up to that point, like up to level 1. You're like, that's really fucking annoying. Or you can just buy it one level at a time. And I'm like, fuck you. I played that game for an hour and I was like, I'm done. That's just a really bad taste in your mouth. Like, it's very disingenuous. And I get they have to do that with stuff, but like, it's such a little, like, you can't be making millions and millions and millions and millions and millions, maybe off of Mario Run and stuff like that. But like, it's enough to like put that much of a bad taste in your mouth, but also no one gives a shit. No one like looks at Mario Run and you're like, man, this really makes Mario Odyssey look bad. Like no one gives a fuck like that. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't like Mario 64, bad rep, bro. Like they got Mario Run. You hear about that? No, like no one gives a shit. It's not like it doesn't correlate. So I guess it doesn't hurt. You know, it's just free money.
I agree.
Money. You know how much extra content a lot of gaming companies have. There's like free shit. Yeah.
There you go. Boom. So that's my biggest concern over the Pokemon Unite. Like I said, it looks fun. I haven't played a MOBA in a while. The last one I played was Paragon, and I actually really liked that game. obviously they kind of trash canned that game for
Battle
Fortnite.
Bond. That was the last one I played.
But
you play Battle Bond? That was a really fun one.
I don't know. I don't think I ever played that. But
it's like a $4 game now.
dope. But yeah, so like, I mean, we'll see what happens. They're obviously going to monetize it some way, especially since they referred to it as free to start. That's actually concerning in and of itself. It's not free to play, it's free to start. So it's like, how many times can I play this game before I have to pay for it,
Yeah.
So
that's asinine. I hate that so much.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a bummer. But anyway, that's coming out, so we'll see how that goes. Did you guys hear about Mixer?
Yeah.
That's insane.
Dude.
Well, isn't this crazy? So pretty much like saw this coming from a mile away. Yeah. It's like so obvious
too. Everyone's like, you should go to Mixer. Ooh, never mind.
Yeah.
Now Disrespect was suspended from Twitch.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, utterly.
He got permanently banned. I didn't.
He even posted on Twitter and said, "I don't even know why."
No one knows why, and
he doesn't even know.
And Twitch hasn't put out a statement. Well, the statement that they did was basically like, we take our terms of service seriously, and violators, or we're going to deal with them as we see
They
fit.
ban a partner. Wow, that's humongous.
Yeah.
One of the top partners there is, and like,
actually, he's not even like my least favorite. Like, I kind of didn't mind him compared to the others.
Right. Yeah, I mean, Alinity still exists on the platform. Yikes.
Who's that? I don't even know who that is.
She's the girl that was like throwing cats and shit.
I hate her. Yeah. I fed her cat vodka. And I'm like, what is wrong with you, you fucking psychopath?
Yeah, exactly.
It's a warning.
Yeah. So, that's a whole thing. But the whole Mixer deal is interesting. I mean, yeah, I think we saw it a mile away. In fact, I think we even reported on the fact that Mixer has made no money this year. There's been like no growth for Mixer.
Wow.
And so it's not hard to imagine where they were coming from. But apparently they just like dumped everything onto Facebook Gaming. They're like, "Yep, we're closing the Mixer doors. Facebook Gaming it is,"
So they probably sold it, right? They sold it off.
Yeah. But here's what Facebook's going to do. It's not going to be like Mixer Facebook. It's going to be like Facebook. Like Mixer just sold all of its intellectual property to be absorbed by Facebook. Like, no, also, you're so dumb. You're gone, bro.
To my understanding, like partners and affiliates don't automatically get partnered and affiliate status on Facebook. This was the craziest thing. So
it's a refresh.
Yeah,
it's a complete refresh. So, even if they go back to Twitch, they don't have their old account.
Yeah. So unless you are a huge streamer that has a following that's going to follow you everywhere, like Ninja or Gathalion, people like that, like you're starting over 100%.
Yeah. And even Ninja will be starting at 0. He'll immediately partner that day.
Yeah.
But he will.
But
start
yeah,
at
let's
0.
not shed a tear for Ninja. He got paid $30 million to make that switch, and didn't even have to fulfill his entire contract. So like,
that's crazy. Yeah,
he's fine.
He's fine. Yeah. Does anyone like him anymore? Seriously,
I don't know.
Really terrible person.
I'm surprised anyone liked him. I don't know.
I thought he was a good.
You have a picture of him behind you.
I thought he was a good influence at first when I first started streaming, and then I was like, he's so toxic. This is not what.
There's a lot of really toxic, stuff that he's done.
All of it.
So
Yeah.
I wouldn't say all of it, but
everything. Give me a charity. Fuck that guy. Just kidding.
That's hilarious. So I don't know. That's pretty wild, though.
Yeah, it's huge.
I've never. Actually, that's a lie. I did stream on Mixer for a very short time. When I was still.
Really?
Yeah, when I was still with Husky Entertainment, we did we used Restream to stream on Facebook, Twitch, and Mixer simultaneously.
Is that allowed under TOS?
No. So like my boss's excuse for it was that we were a company and he had special permission, but I think he was full of shit. He was literally talking out of his ass.
That's awesome.
But literally I never got any traffic from Mixer, like 0 traffic, because you can monitor and restream like where your chats are coming from and what users are, so I'd see some Facebook stuff pop up in there every now and then. Never saw a thing from Mixer. Not
it was
a
such a stupid
viewer.
gimmick. As soon as it started, me and Colin were like, this is a joke. This is like, why would we switch? It makes no sense.
But the one argument I would have is that Twitch is so saturated. But that's still
That's still where the
you know,
viewers are.
that's where the viewers are. Exactly.
Yeah,
It's not
the
like
viewers aren't leaving. They have
yeah,
plenty to watch.
that'd be like going
Yeah.
from TV to, you know, like puppet
Yeah.
shows. You know,
Yeah, I
like
can't
I
wait
don't
to watch
know,
a puppet
like,
show.
right.
It's like the people that watch, they have all the content at their disposal on Twitch. Why would they ever go to Mixer, another app? They're like, you know, I have everyone on Twitch. There's no one on Mixer. Fuck that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
pretty
being a
wild.
viewer on Twitch is like the best right now because you literally have your choice of from awesome to garbage at every single game. So
Yeah. Yeah. So I forget which. Oh, it's the New Game Plus Game Expo did a live stream this weekend. I didn't actually see the whole thing. I only saw some clips. I didn't even realize it was going on. But Suda51, who you guys may know from No More Heroes fame,
Nintendo.
did like an epic troll with No More Heroes 3 gameplay. He basically was giving his like little presentation and put No More Heroes gameplay up behind him with him taking up like the entire screen.
That's awesome.
Like it's a pretty funny clip to check out. But yeah,
Everyone's like, get the fuck out of the way.
right, exactly. So I mean, No More Heroes 3 confirmed. I'm sure it's coming soon.
That's cool.
So
there's some
people that don't-
gameplay out
yeah.
there, but
It's kind of
Suda's
Nintendo's answer to like a huge crazy beat 'em up. Like I don't even
Yeah.
know if it's in the same category as God of War, but it is technically a beat 'em up. Super
Yeah.
fun. If you never played this kind of game, it's like anime cell shading.
Yeah.
Awesome, insane beat 'em up. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
really hard to explain.
It's kind of like Japanese Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah,
is-
actually, that's a really good
yes.
way to explain it. Actually, that's like perfect.
Yeah.
Except you're like an adult cool guy instead of like an idiot nerd. Yeah. You're like an actual cool, slick, like guy with the sword and shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that game is really fun, really over the top. Yeah.
Mhm, yeah.
Really a good one for Nintendo. Because Nintendo doesn't have a lot of franchises like that, I feel like. So that's pretty neat.
Yep. I don't know if that's going to be Nintendo exclusive though. Wasn't the last one not?
I don't know if they were exclusive, but I could have sworn the first one was.
The first one was for
on
sure. It was on Wii
or something. Yeah.
Yeah. But
then
I feel like
think it ported out.
so
yeah.
wasn't like the very last one that they released, which wasn't like an official one.
It was
the one.
Molly.
What is? Yeah. I need help.
Molly, let's get.
I'm making up facts right now.
No, I don't know either.
You know what I'm talking about, right? The one that came out a couple years ago that was like
PS4. Maybe
it was totally in a different style. And not. I don't think it had a very good reception, to be honest.
Yeah.
Especially because people were clamoring for No More Heroes 3.
Yeah.
So
okay,
I don't know. Anyway, for some reason I feel like that wasn't Nintendo exclusive, but it may have been, and maybe
this is really No More Heroes 4.
Yeah, I guess technically.
Oh, okay. I hate when they do that.
Yeah. But it was like, okay, so a good example would be like you've got Darksiders 1, 2, 3, and 4 or whatever, and then Darksiders Genesis is a different style of game.
Yeah.
You know, it's in the same universe. It's just a different style of game.
Wow,
So
I wish
it's not
Paper Mario
like-
would have taken that tip. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's like putting Mario Tennis on the title of a golf game. You're just like, it's still Mario Tennis because they look the same. They look the same, so it's Mario Tennis. Fuck you. I'm done.
That's freaking hilarious.
I love it.
Let's see. Bloodstained Curse of the Moon. Did you guys play that game? It's awesome. So it's Bloodstained is a series that has recently come out over the last few years. It was originally kickstarted as like I believe actually the original creator of Castlevania Symphony of the Night started the Kickstarter for Bloodstained, and it's, you know, a dope Castlevania-esque game that came out in the style
Heroes
of
Paradise.
Yeah, it's in the style of Symphony of the Night. Well, leading up to it, they released Curse of the Moon, which is in the style of the old Nintendo Castlevania games.
Ooh.
And it's really good. It's so fun. They
That's
just
cool.
announced Curse of the Moon 2, and it's actually coming out on the 10th, on July 10th.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I was actually just thinking how there needs to be like how they're revamping a ton of genres these days, like bullet hell and all that the Castlevania, Metroidvania style has only really been done by Hollow Knight and like a few others like very well. And I think it would be really cool to see like a Castlevania game in the modern age.
Well, I think you'd be into these Bloodstained games then. If you're a Castlevania fan, I just smacked my mic. If you're a Castlevania fan, you'd be into them. Yeah, Curse of the Moon's freaking amazing. I haven't actually played like the main series one, the one that's like Symphony of the Night. I can't remember the full name of it. But I haven't actually finished it. I've played very little of it, and it's a game that I've been meaning to play. But I did play all the way through Curse of the Moon, and I freaking loved every second of it. It's so good, and so I'm very excited about this. And I believe it's
Ritual of the Night.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Ritual of the Night is the like more like main series one. Oh, the other cool thing about this is it's gonna have 2-player co-op.
You know we love that.
We do love that.
He blinks back into reality. He's like, what?
Yes.
2-player co-op.
Mario Galaxy, you said?
Yes.
Oh my god.
2-player co-op.
Can you imagine? Oh my god.
Yeah. It'll be pretty dope.
I think most games should have that kind of capability these days, even if it's poop.
I think so. Yeah, I mean,
something in. Yeah.
Some kind of multiplayer for real.
Yeah, something. Come
on. Steam Summer Sale's going on right now. This year they added in a points system to the shop. So, and that includes, well, I think it's got to include previous purchases because I've got a whole bunch of points that, you know, and I haven't bought a lot of stuff on Steam recently, but I went in there, I had like 29,000 points or some shit like that.
Damn.
And you can use those points to buy cool like customizations for Steam and things like that, themes and all that.
Games?
I don't know if you can buy games. That would be cool if you could. The one cool thing about it, okay, Chamali says no, and so that's a bummer. But you can get cool like UI items for Steam, and the other thing is like these points don't go away. So like if you buy a bunch of games during the Steam sale and there's not anything that you want to get in the points shop now, like later on, your points are going to carry over, which is
basically
cool.
You know, stream points for Steam points.
Yeah, pretty much the same thing.
They're like, let's just steal everyone's ideas.
Right. Yeah.
Let's parsec.
Yeah. Final little bit of news that we have is really more rumors. We got two, one of which I was kind of debunked, it sounds like. We'll talk about that in a sec. There's a leaked Microsoft document that supports a theory for a second new Xbox model.
Come on.
We knew this already though. Like we reported on this like a year ago. There was 3 Xbox models that they had planned on making. So we know like right now they're doing the Xbox Series X, right? That's going to be the big one. The Series S is the small one, and then whatever the other one is going to be, I believe is going to be like a cloud-based system. Was the original thought, or at least the original patent that people had seen a long time ago. Like I said, I think we reported on this like a year ago. But again, this is a rumor. It is based on just like some, patent filings and such. So you don't know. The second one, and this is the one that's kind of been debunked. And the reason I say kind of is because this company, Playground Games, which is the company that made Fable, we know for a fact is working on a new game right now.
Fable 4.
Right. So that was the assumption, especially because recently people had spotted a placeholder Twitter account that's literally just called Fable placeholder, right? So
it's gotta be.
I mean, that's the old game though. Like,
but people have been clamoring for a new Fable game for a long time.
Fable 3 was 2012.
There you go.
Yeah, that's
2011 actually.
Pretty old.
Yeah, that's not new. It's not new for sure.
But I mean, lots of games take that fucking long, don't they?
Yeah.
What are you doing to the chat?
I think he's just posting our socials in there.
Nice.
It's not like really organized, but it's a start.
I like it.
Fable 3 2010.
There you go.
10.5-year-old game.
Jeez. Well, I mean, we saw, how long was it between Diablo 2 and Diablo 3? It was like almost 15 years or some shit, you know?
That's true, yeah.
So,
That's true.
but anyway, Microsoft marketing did state that that was just to secure the IP in regards to the Twitter account. And so that's their way of debunking that. But like, I think that's kind of like a soft debunk, if you ask me personally, because again, why a Twitter account, first of all? Like, it's understandable, like renewing patents, you know, and renewing trademarks. We see that all the time, and a lot of people assume that means, oh, they're making a new Game Boy Advance or whatever. Well, no, they're not, but they want to still own that intellectual property, right? A Twitter account doesn't really, I don't think, fall into the category of intellectual property completely, but you know, that's a way of them saying, hey, you know, killing hype before it's too early for them to expose it themselves. You know what I'm saying?
Like a good sequel. I mean, other companies, I noticed this is why Nintendo also has like a nice edge. You're always like, sure, you're gonna get a Zelda, Mario, Metroid, Donkey Kong. Like, you're just like gonna get that when you get the console. You're like, can't wait till the next Smash Bros comes out. Like, it's happening. Like, so like the other consoles don't really do that. And I was like, people want Fable. It's been so long. Like, people want Diablo. Why wait? Why make them wait? Put out a Diablo every 5 years.
Like, and what console exclusives are we gonna have for the Xbox Series S? Halo.
That's what I'm wondering.
Right now, that's
Halo.
it. And Halo, people haven't really been super into Halo after they left Bungie. You know, like
they're just doing Grand Theft Auto 5 again. Like, dude, what are you doing to these people? Fuck, what are you doing? Why would they get an Xbox? Seriously, it's kind of like PS5 is making a very good argument for itself over the Xbox in this next gen. Yeah.
So we'll see. I still think it's way early to make that judgment call, but especially because we know for a fact that Microsoft has been buying up companies left and right for the last couple years, you know. So they definitely are trying to make a play for some kind of exclusivity deals, but right now they're not showing their cards, you know.
They've been doing the thing where they're putting their games on Nintendo and other people's consoles too, so they're like maybe raring up for something big.
Hopefully. I mean, you know, otherwise who's gonna be into that? Like, just
it's just
hardcore
garbage,
Xbox guys. Yeah.
It's like, I love Gears of War 12. It's like, cool. Did you get any other games this year? FIFA 16,000.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Fuck those games.
Yeah.
And, I kind of always thought that about PlayStation. Like, it was just Xbox, but a little better. A little more like a computer and less like a fucking piece of plastic.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the one Xbox I think for sure had the advantage was the 360, and that was just because they had a better online architecture.
They were kind of hitting their stride then, and then like they're like the one, and everyone's like, "What are you doing, bro?"
Yeah.
Like 360 was definitely hit their stride. Yeah, that was nice
for sure.
That was it, though.
That's pretty much all I got for this week. Do you guys have anything else?
Hit the old dusty trail.
There we go.
Dusty trailing.
Let's Colin, do you want to announce your feature game that you're going to be playing when I finish good old Mario Paper Edition?
Yes. Katana Zero.
Oh, you're gonna love it! Yes, I'm so excited you picked that one.
That's awesome. So the next game we're gonna talk about when I'm finished with Paper Mario is gonna be Katana Zero. Both Josh and I have played it, which we both love it.
I really love it. It's probably one of my favorite PC games. Yeah,
it's
really
so good.
Yeah, no joke. It's like
I have it on the Switch.
The last,
yeah.
Is it originally a PC? I would assume.
I think it's multi-plat. I think it released just multi-platform. Yeah.
Oh well, like that and Celeste.
Controller or mouse and keyboard?
I would definitely use a
controller for sure.
Yeah, I would use a controller. Yeah, because it's really fast reactionary stuff.
Yeah.
You're gonna get annoyed if you have a mouse, I think.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe try both. See what you like better. I think it plays really well on controller though.
Yeah, it's like feels like a really good platformer. I think you like the controller better. Yeah, you could beat it in literally like 8 hours. No, I think I beat it in 6. Like it was really short.
It's not super
like,
long, but the story's
it.
incredible.
Yeah,
And
I
the
almost
gameplay
shit
is
myself.
incredible. And then like literally everything about it is super dope.
Jamali beat it in 3 just today. Holy shit, he just said. I just played it today. Damn. It is really an amazing game. For anyone who hasn't played it's like a $10 game, maybe 15.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's cheaper on G2A. Definitely if you're like a fan of like Celeste, very difficult platforming or stuff like that. Cuphead, I would absolutely clump in Katana Zero into that. Like Cuphead, Celeste, Katana Zero, 3 games that stand out. And like Hollow Knight too. I would clump that in there too. Yeah.
Very cool. I'm excited about that. So like our new system that we're going to, I think we talked about it briefly last week, but we want to try and be on a 3-week rotation of the featured game. So like as soon as I'm done with Paper Mario is when this is gonna start. So I'm gonna finish Paper Mario. I'm gonna pick a new game then and start playing it. Meanwhile, the following week, Colin is gonna present Katana Zero. And then the following week, Josh will have finished whatever game he's picked and play that.
Yet.
Yeah, we haven't revealed that yet.
Next week.
We're not going to be here next week, but you can reveal it the week after. Yeah, we're taking a week off for the holiday.
It gives me a week to actually play it.
Yeah, exactly. And so, and I'm encouraging, especially myself, I'm going to play our feature games on stream at least once a week, just to like help get you guys involved, which I think is cool. And then so we'll just like as soon as we finish a game, we'll pick a new one. The next person will present the next week. That way we have like that segment every week. So new thing to talk about. We're trying to, if you didn't notice, we're trying to like trim down the news a little more and talk just more about like cool video games that we love and things like that. So
I think it's better when we just talk
news,
about this. It's better when we just flow.
Yeah.
We're good like that.
All right. Well, that's about it for the week, guys. Everyone have an awesome night. My name's Paul. You're on my channel right now. If you're watching us on Twitch, it's Ryugami-san. You can also find me on Twitter at Ryugami-sama. Also our socials are there in the chat right now too. Josh, where can we find you, buddy?
Find me at Lord Yeshua on Twitch and Lord Yeshua TTV on all my other socials like Instagram and the other ones. We should be streaming a little more Banjo-Tooie, and then we'll be hitting Paper Mario.
Paper Mario.
So I know Paul is playing that right now, but for me, it's more of a ritual. I'll be playing. I don't know if I'm gonna do Mario RPG. I think I'm just gonna do Paper Mario. Just because I'm realizing time is like.
Are you gonna be able to make it
away
time
from me?
With both?
That's why I'm saying I don't know if I can do that with RPG. So
when does the actual game come out again?
Comes out on July 17th. So I'm gonna make it so I beat Thousand Year Door on July 16th, and then play Origami King right on launch day. I'm very excited.
Excellent.
So that's what's happening in the world of Lord Yeshua. So I'd say it'll probably take me a week and another few streams to beat Thousand Year, and then probably 3 streams to beat Paper Mario 1. So it's about 2 weeks.
Nice.
Yeah. Can't wait.
Colin, where can we find you, bud?
Twitch.tv/4Gs.
That's the only one.
And 4Gs Gaming, I think, on Twitter. I don't really go on Twitter very often.
Yeah, 4Gs Gaming on Twitter is what we have down at the bottom of the screen. So I hope that's right.
Nice.
I hope so.
Anyone we should stream other than Mandari?
Who's...
We could totally raid Mandari. It's all good.
Yes.
Let's do it. Everyone hang out. We're raiding Mandari. I don't know what she's doing right now. Looks like she is doing Spooky Scary Sunday Dead by Daylight. So if you like pushing over wooden pallets.
Colin, you've played this game before.
Just once or twice.
Yeah. Then hang out, boys and girls, because we raiding.
Girls? Bye.
There's girls here, I swear.
Bye, girls.
Yeah, there was
PJ
was here. Yeah.
PJ's here.
There we go.
He's alive.
All right, everyone have an awesome night. We're raiding in right now. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.